The top stories: Council of Ministers approves $1.5 billion financial agreement. And an economist said well-managed AFCFTA will benefit Africa's economy significantly. Hello and welcome to EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism, with the latest news highlights of the hour. I am Tabitha John. Do stay with us. In its 38th regular session today, the Council of Ministers approved a proclamation regarding the financial assistance agreement with the International Development Association, IDA. The agreement, valued at $1.5 billion, encompasses $1 billion in grants and $500 million in loans. This financial support is intended to assist the Ethiopian government in implementing reforms aimed at stabilizing the macroeconomy, with a particular focus on job creation, regulation of inflation, addressing foreign exchange shortages, and facilitating structural adjustments. Additionally, some of the funds will be allocated to support the federal budget for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Given that the loan is interest-free, features a 6-year grace period, and has a repayment timeline of 38 years, the Council of Ministers endorsed the financial agreement and forwarded it to the House of People's Representatives for final approval. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed today met with the newly appointed Ethiopian ambassadors following the culmination of their training over the past few weeks, the office of the Prime Minister confirmed. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has reiterated the government's dedication to enhancing tea production by emulating the productivity achieved in the coffee sector. Quote unquote, we aim to replicate the success we've had with the coffee productivity in our tea production, the Prime Minister pointed out. This morning, the Premier shared photos on social media showcasing ongoing tea plantation efforts. Ethiopia's Minister of Innovation and Technology, Belete Molla, engaged in a discussion with Liu Jing, Deputy Director General of the China Atomic Energy Authority in Beijing. The primary focus of their conversation revolved around potential areas of cooperation, as disclosed on Wednesday by the Ethiopian Embassy in Beijing. Additionally, Belete visited the China Atomic Energy Authority to gain insights from their counterparts and learned from their experiences. This visit comes as Minister Belete is currently in Beijing to participate in the Forum on China-Africa Digital Cooperation. During his speech, he highlighted the transformative cooperation between Ethiopia and China in the field of digital innovation.
Modern humans originated in Ethiopia means that everybody evolved from these ancient populations that lived in what is now Ethiopia about 150, 160,000 years ago. Those are the populations that spread to the rest of Africa before they went out of Africa, right? So basically, you can say that, modern humans originated in Africa. Definitely, there's no question about that. But once they showed up as modern humans, they've spread to different parts of Africa. In the end, yes, everybody can say we're all Ethiopians. We're all Africans. That's like, no doubt, nobody doubts that. Every human being that lives on every corner of the world, they trace their origins to Africa. If you want to be specific, then of course they trace their origins back to Ethiopia.
Welcome back. An economic expert disclosed that a well-managed AFCFTA will benefit Africa's economy significantly. Approached by EBC World, researcher at Policy Study Institute, Abebe Ambacho, said speeding up the reforms that required accommodating the implementation of AFCFTA is crucial. Tugus Sarnisa sat down with them. Take a look.
The African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, a continental agreement that aims to create a single market for goods and services, facilitate free movement of people and capital, and promote industrial development and economic integration in Africa. Talking to ABC World, a renowned macroeconomist and chairperson at Fairfax Africa Fund LLC, Zamedina Negatu, has disclosed that if managed well, AFCFTA will benefit a big economy like Ethiopia significantly.
AFCFTA, if managed well, would benefit a big economy like Ethiopia significantly. We're in the export business. We export from Ethiopia, I can tell you. Given a chance, we can export. Now we export only to Europe and eventually to the United States, but we can export to our neighboring countries. Very effective. This didn't exist. Companies like us 10 years ago didn't exist. So we're afraid maybe the Kenyans will come in, which they have much more advanced economy than us. I think there was a fear, a genuine fear before the same with banking, by the way. We were afraid, we acknowledged behind the scenes that we're small, our banks are small. If we open up, they will overwhelm us. Now our banks can actually go and acquire banks across Africa. I mean, if they're really determined and if they create partnerships. So this is good news for Ethiopia. I think you know that from what I've read in the media and talking to people, we're applied to join the WTO. Again, a big step. By the way, it's also a reflection of a mindset change because we're the largest economy in the world of this size that's not a member of the WTO. Imagine that. We're the largest economy of this size that doesn't have a stock exchange. We're now have a stock exchange. Next year we'll join the WTO. So I think people need to look at it holistically.
Researcher at Ethiopian Policy Study Institute, Ambacho Abebe, for his part, said that speeding up the reforms that are required to accommodate the implementation of AFCFTA is crucial.
We have already committed. We have ratified, means we made it part of our internal law, so it is not an option. So we have to speed up the reforms that are required to accommodate, to domesticate the strategy, and the private sector should be also hugely involved, and the private sector should also push the government to speed up the reform things, like it may be changing laws, domestic laws and regulations to be consistent with the commitment of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, because we have commitments under that, and our domestic laws and regulations may not be consistent with that, so that may be creating a hurdle for the private sector to take part and benefit from this strategy. So the private sector should be actively involved in the process of the strategy development.
Program Management Officer at African Trade Policy Center at UNECA, Batane Chukwenye, also further stressed that Ethiopia's commencement of wheat export to other African countries is pivotal to generate revenue.
You know, as a continent, we must be able to feed ourselves. So if Ethiopia has excess wheat that can be exported to other African countries, that is for the benefit of the continent. We then do not have to depend on wheat from Ukraine or some other European countries. So certainly that is the CFTA at work for the Ethiopian producers that are exporting that wheat to fellow African countries.
The success of African Continental Free Trade Area is expected to ease off movement of people. AU introduced a free movement of persons protocol in 2018, which has been signed by 32 countries and only 4 have ratified it.
And finally, Moroccan ambassador to Ethiopia, Neja Alawi Mahamdi, says the bilateral ties between Ethiopia and Morocco are expanding in various areas of cooperation. Moroccan embassy in Addis Ababa has observed the 25th anniversary of the accession of His Majesty Mohammed VI to the throne at the Skylight Hotel. Shagao Yamato has the following report.
The Moroccan embassy in Addis Ababa has observed the 25th anniversary of the ascension of His Majesty Mohammed VI to the throne in Addis Ababa in the presence of senior officials from Ethiopia and Morocco, as well as the diplomatic community. On the occasion, Moroccan ambassador to Ethiopia said the celebration renews the mutual bond of allegiance between the people of Morocco and King Mohammed VI.
This celebration is an annual occasion to renew the mutual bonds of bay'ah, allegiance, between the people and the king, that embodies close cohesion between the sovereign and the people throughout history. It also reflects the Kingdom of Morocco's strong ties uniting Moroccan people with their monarchs as commanders of the faithful, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and as a symbol of nations' unity.
The ambassador elaborated that Morocco has recently implemented several reforms that seek economic growth and development, promote democracy and human rights, and address social inequality. Regarding on bilateral ties with Ethiopia, the ambassador noted that after the king's visit in Ethiopia in 2016, the ties are gaining momentum across various sectors and follows the win-win approach.
The state visit of His Majesty the King, may God assist him, in November 2016 to Ethiopia reflected the bonds of friendship as well as the willingness and determination of the two countries to enhance win-win bilateral relations. The cooperation linking Morocco and Ethiopia is underlined by our increasing visits exchange of officials, which confirms the common wish to further reinforce ties between our two countries, to give a further impetus to our already existing cooperation. Ethiopia is considered as a strategic partner for Morocco regarding its important regional position and its role in sustaining peace and stability in Africa.
She further noted that education, vocational training, infrastructure, and renewable energy are among the areas that the two countries endeavor to maintain momentum, adding the state-owned company OCP has become a strong partner to support Ethiopia to reach self-sufficiency in fertilizer production in the agricultural sector.
In agriculture, the OCP, a government-owned company, has become a strong partner, shares with many African countries, mainly the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, being itself an agricultural relying economy. It is to be noted that Moroccan OCP strategic and long-term plan is set to support Ethiopia reaching self-sufficiency in fertilizer production with prospects of investing in its potential for exportation too.
Ambassador Fassah Shaul, Director General of African Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, for his part indicated that Morocco is not only cooperating in bilateral ties with Ethiopia, but also we are working on multilateral platforms to fight climate change and ensuring sustainable development to achieve the overall aspirations of Africa.
Our cooperation extends across diverse sectors, including trade, investment, education, agriculture, and capacity building. Moreover, we often align our positions on multilateral platforms such as the African Union, the United Nations, where we work together on issues related to climate change and sustainable development and overall aspirations of Africa. We continue to expand the horizons of cooperation between our two countries, and as we mark today's anniversary, we are looking forward to further strengthen our excellent relations with clear direction and purpose.
The Moroccan embassy in Addis Ababa observed the 25th anniversary of the ascension of King Mohammed VI to the throne at the Skylight Hotel in the presence of the diplomatic community and officials from the two countries.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen.
You're watching ABC World, a reminder of the top stories. Council of Ministers approves $1.5 billion financial agreement. And an economist said well-managed AFCFTA will benefit Africa's economy significantly. That's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Thank you for watching. Have a good time and do take care.